All right, Nemesis IV here, and I'm going to teach you guys today how to chop your breaks in FL Studio. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that our tempo is matching our song tempo. So today we're going to be using 170 BPM, so the tempo is set to 170. So now what we're going to do is we're going to drop in a break. So just go with this one. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use the time stretch wheel and basically make it fit our tempo. So now it'll sound like this. All right, sounds good. So we're going to go ahead and export that. And we're going to call this. So notice that I have the name of it, the BPM, and its length. Dump that. And so for another example, we can go ahead and grab one out of this pack. Let's go with so this one's already set to 170. We don't need to change it. So let's go ahead and open up the box break 3. So we're going to go ahead and make this fit. And we're going to repeat it. And then, because we're already here in the editor, we're going to go ahead and do a trick here. We're going to go and basically just cut a little piece of it. And so we're going to kind of make that repeat here. And you'll see why I'm doing this. You could also add effects. So if we put this on track 1 and we bring over our mixer, I could go ahead and, like, let's say, I don't know, we could put on space modulator, so a little flanger on there. And you could even do, like, let's say, EQ cuts. So we're going to go ahead and open EQ2. Go ahead and dump this because we're not going to need that, right? So you can go ahead and, like, play with that sound a bit. So we'll go ahead and export this. Call it 3C, 4 bar. All right, now let's move on to the actual beat slicing. So I'll see you guys in 2 seconds. All right, so now we're in a new instance of FL Studio. And we're getting ready to chop our breaks. So we're going to open up a Fruity Slicer. We're going to click the knife icon and then go to beat slicing. So that's our time division. So each chop is 1 beat long. So this is pretty useful because we could actually chop these even smaller and create, like, stutter effects or glitching effects. So you can see right there we got the little stutter. And we can also rearrange the pattern. So you can create a more customized break on top of the customized break we already created earlier. You can see the ghost notes of some of my other chops I made earlier. So turn the amen back on. Test the box break. So sometimes you want to, like, kind of enhance the sound of it. Some of these old chops don't quite, like, they're not loud enough. So you could use, like, a fruity wave shaper to increase some more sound. And then you want to put on an EQ. So So basically what I'm doing here is I'm searching for like the part of the sound that I want to bring out. And I'm just using the stock EQ. I do have ozone, but I'm not showing that here. So, you know, in a more professional, or not professional, but on a more release candidate song, I think I would spend a little longer EQing, but whatever. So you're playing all the breaks together to see how they sound. I'm going to go ahead and just copy the box break over. So what we're doing here is we're creating a new pattern, and we're now drawing in the notes with another one of our breaks. I believe this one is it's an amen break. So one cool part about this sort of view is that you can go ahead and kind of create your own custom progressions there, and you can make something that kind of accompanies your other break. So now we have 2 breaks later. Sounding pretty good, right? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and split these. That's to make it easier for us to rearrange them on the timeline. So you create progressions. So if I want to progress that particular break, I'm going to clone that pattern so that I can go ahead and change it. So I've replaced the Amen pattern 2 with a more standard progression, and now we're adding the bass. You know, what would drum and bass be without the bass? So it sounded pretty cool all together. Now we'll add a pad. That's something very common in like older school drum and bass and jungle, and obviously your newer, let's say, breakcore style tracks, still gonna have a pad. So this one sounds pretty cool. It's got a lot of sounds in it, so I don't really need to like pick up another ARP or something like that, but we kind of need to make it a little more softened. So we're using a reverb to add some wideness and cut some of the EQ that we don't like. And then I'm going to add a chorus to add in a little bit more interest. So after that, we're going to use Fruity Fast LP. So that is a cutoff filter, and then we're going to automate the cutoff part. So that'll control how hard it comes in. So it'll be like extremely low pass at the beginning, but we can raise that. So now it comes in like soft, but it's going to reach basically its peak by bar 24 or so. So you see it's coming in nice and like coherent. And we can play around with that pad more and add more effects or change the sound later. But just having the skeleton there is pretty important. Go ahead and create a little break, give ourselves some time to think. And play with the cutoff filter a little bit to give it a dip. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit to basically making a pattern for side B. So we add in some of the slide notes. So we're doing a slide note upward to kind of create like it's kind of like how they have it in like UK drill, as sort of like an upward movement of the bass, like an upward bend. So let's hear that all together. And I've also turned back on like every pattern. So like we kind of made that joke at first, but now we're actually going to re-chop that. So that's another thing you can do. You could take your drum break patterns and chop them more on the timeline view to create a very unique sound. And notice how I haven't added like a lead or like a secondary pad. I'm trying to keep this relatively clean, although that master track loudness is definitely going to make an audio engineer upset. But, you know, we don't need that right now. We'd always do that later. So go ahead and put in like this little vocal sample. It's something you hear a lot in the jungle. And give it a little stutter, gross beat, excuse me. So we create a clone of it, and we're going to go and pitch that down. And by alternating those samples, you can create, well, your viewer's not going to get as tired. Yeah, those are pretty much like the basics of starting like your own drum and bass or breakcore song. High tempo, chop drum breaks, pad, bass, and you know, the next step probably be to add in like a lead or an ARP or some other element, or you could just keep it very minimal and just have like, let's say, you know, just a bunch of vocal chops or sound effects or things like that. You want to go down the Venetian snares route. But yeah. So I'm Nemesis IV. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and if you like it, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I also have an album coming out relatively soon on 5/31. So I'll be posting tracks from the album before that, and yeah, hopefully you guys check it out. It'll be uploaded to Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, whatever else DistroKid has. Anyway, I will see you guys on the next video.